Hello aspirants, looking at editorials for 31st October 2016. The first editorial in the Hindu newspaper, Get Serious About Fighting TB. So this is regarding the tuberculosis disease and we have discussed it in news quite often. In the last news item too, we had discussed about World Health Organization asking for a special session of UN General Assembly on tuberculosis. So this is a bacterial disease, a contagious disease which is having high incidence, especially in India. India has the highest burden of TB. So the incidence rate and even the mortality rate here is high. It is also a disease which generally infects people with HIV/AIDS and that becomes the cause for their death too. So to tackle TB, a special session is what who is demanding. And in India too, we have revised National Tuberculosis Control Program. We have discussed about DOTS, Directly Observed Treatment Short Course, which is also a WHO recommended system, World Health Organization recommended system, under which the treatment is directly observed. Means it is to be ensured that the person suffering from TB takes the medication on time and in correct doses at regular intervals. So that is very much essential for TB because otherwise drug resistance develops. And that is what we see, multi-drug resistant TB, extremely drug resistant TB. So to tackle all these aspects of TB, it is required that the diagnosis is strong plus the treatment is regularly taken by all people affected by TB because it's a contagious disease. Everybody should be included. So it's 100% inclusion in India too under revised National Tuberculosis Control Program. Everybody or entire country is covered. But the problem is even in notification that the private healthcare providers are also required to notify anybody suffering from TB. Even in public sector, we have discussed earlier in news that the number of people who come to the public sector healthcare system for treatment of TB or even for diagnosis, half of them are lost. So where do they go? Do they go to the private sector? Do they get the correct treatment or not? Around 35% were missing as we discussed earlier too. So that is what we see, that the incidence rates are high. Even people, if they fall off the radar, whether they are taking the medication or not, will result in India not being capable of tackling this contagious disease. So that is where it is required to be concentrating on. India has to enhance its national TB control program. It has to bring in the expansion of the Gene Expert, which is the which is the diagnosis for TB. So this Gene Expert pilot program which India has launched has to be expanded and brought forth in all regions. So that is what is discussed here. You can see this is tuberculosis, the disease, a global problem, leading cause for HIV deaths also. The symptoms which we see, coughing in blood, chronic coughing, fever, right? Then this is regarding the drug resistant TB too. MDR TB, multi-drug resistant TB, which is not effective with the two most powerful of the first line drugs. Then the extensively drug resistant TB, which is resistant to the two most powerful anti-TB drugs of the first four lines. So this is the drug resistance which we see is developing in TB cases. So it generally affects the lungs. It's the bacterial disease, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So this is the Gene Expert diagnosis which is recommended for various types of TB. Monoresistant, polyresistance, multi-drug resistance, extremely drug resistance and totally drug resistant TB has also developed. So we don't have the cure for that, a drug for totally drug resistant TB. Then the next editorial in the Hindu newspaper is the rise of Xi Jinping. This is the president of China and he has further consolidated his authority in Communist Party of China. And he has become the party chief, the head of the state, the commander-in-chief of the military and presently has declared himself as the core leader. So corruption, the editorial says, the main thing which infests China because of opening up the economy. Corruption has also become very much prevalent and Xi Jinping has come down heavily on corruption. So that is what the popular demand is too. But then in the process, he has also eliminated leaders who are a threat and he is aggrandizing his own personal powers. So that is also seen. So he's in a much stronger position right now. But the Chinese economy is also suffering because of the economic growth being slow and the geopolitical tensions and how to tackle them. So there are problems even in China, the inequities which have developed now and foreign policy challenges. like even the South China Sea dispute and various other factors. So that is the two editorials. The next thing we look at is the question bank. The lead article today is an invitation to peace mongering. So this is regarding the India-Pakistan dispute only and the surgical strikes and cross-border firing which is escalating presently. The editorial actually speaks about how now we need to talk about peace and not just about war. So that is where the emphasis is, but again it is a little about the preaching side about bringing in peace, but no content and no question which can be formed out of that. So that can be skipped. What ails business journalism is the column article. Again, this article is not relevant for us. Ignorance that isn't bliss. So this article also talks about ignorance. It's a famous quote, ignorance is bliss. So we don't know, so we are happy. Bliss is in a happy state of mind. So ignorance is bliss, but then you should at least know that you are ignorant. So it's like Socrates' statement that he is the most intelligent person because he knows that he doesn't know many things. So that was the idea, that at least you should know what you don't know. So that level of ignorance is fine. Beyond that becomes a trouble. So he's also talking about how the internet is presently used to proliferate some types of knowledge and ideas, and internet is full of various knowledge systems, and then when you are adhering to and accepting some form of knowledge, then you should know about other views which are also present and whether the both together give you the complete truth or not. So that's the idea, that at least if you believe in one aspect, then you should know what is the other aspect. You should not be ignorant about some aspects which are not covered. So that's the whole idea, but again, no question or no material which we get for our news items. Then for a question. Then the next article which we have picked up for the question is about still seriously hungry and poor. So we'll discuss a question based on this one article today. The question which we have framed is, India is the fastest growing large economy in the world today, yet 1 in every 5 Indians is poor. Multilateral agencies as well as government are playing an active role in understanding problems related to poverty and hunger and finding solutions to them. Elucidate. So basically this article talks of the two reports which have come forth, and they talk about poverty and especially for India what is the case. So we know about poverty is a multidimensional concept, and poverty, hunger both are interlinked. These are the first two goals even in sustainable development goals of UN. So UN SDG, the first goal is no poverty, the second goal is zero hunger. So out of 17, these are the first two which we are targeting. So presently 767 million people in the world are poor, and more than 800 do not get enough to eat. So 800 million do not get enough to eat. So that is the fact. But then if you look at the reports, it is the Global Hunger Index, the report which is brought forth by International Food Policy Research Institute, which captures the hunger level across the countries. So it gives you a value from 0 to 100, 100 being here. It's the 4 factors based on which it gives its index. So the 4 components of this index are undernourishment, percentage of undernourished population. Child wasting means percentage of children under 5 years of age with wasting. Wasting is weight loss. Child stunting means stunted growth, height. So percentage of stunted children in under 5. Then child mortality means under 5 mortality rates, means death rates. So these 4 factors, components are used to determine the Global Hunger Index, and this Global Hunger Index is a value given from 0 to 100. So this is the weightage given to each 4 factors also, which is shown here. So 1/6 to child wasting and child stunting, 1/3 to undernourishment and child mortality respectively. So this index has been coming forth since 2006 every year, and 0 to 100 is 0 represents zero hunger, 100 represents absolute hunger. India's level are shown here. India into this year's 2016 index is at 97th position out of 118 countries, which is very low rank, and it is it's out of 0 to 100 hunger index is 28.5 in 2016. So it's gradually reduced, as you can see the graph here too, but then its reduction levels are still, the prevalence of hunger is very high. Reduction levels are there. So this is what is seen. So the based on the values too, it goes from low hunger to moderate, serious, alarming and extremely alarming. So we fall in the serious bracket actually. So that is seen. So what the points which come forth in the 2016 Global Hunger Index 2 is that developing countries have a major stake in reducing hunger levels. So there the hunger prevalence is very high. There are distinct regions with high global hunger index scores, and these regions are Africa, south of Sahara, and South Asia. So India also falls here. India is placed at a very low rank, 97 out of 118 in serious category. Then about the next report which has come forth from the World Bank is Pathways to Reducing Poverty and Sharing Prosperity in India. So this is specifically on India's development. So this report speaks of poverty in India has declined from 1994 to 2013, but some populations are substantially worse off than the other groups. So though poverty rates are declining, but these some groups which are having high incidence of poverty, there too decline is taking place, but at a much lower rate. So in other groups decline is faster, but in these groups where it is which are already poor, decline rates are slow. So this is one point pointed out, and these groups are of course the scheduled tribes and next the scheduled castes. So in scheduled tribes 43% are below poverty line as per 2012 data, and in scheduled caste 29% are below poverty line. So reduction rate is lower here. And then again geography also affects poverty. So poverty is very much prevalent in states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh. So these are having the maximum part of the burden of the poverty. So it says even the rural-urban divide is another aspect which is highlighted, that there are more poor in rural areas than in urban areas. It says 1 out of 5 Indians are poor, and in these 5 Indians, 4 are out of every 5 poor people, 4 are from rural areas and 1 is from urban area. So that is the statistics about information about poverty in India. So these reports can be used by the government to ensure that poverty is well targeted and these regions, these groups and rural areas specifically get adequate support so that they come out of poverty and hunger is also eliminated. So that is about these. So this is the concluding part here too about how poverty affects the poorest, because amongst the poor, how much economic support they have. Say they have 100 rupees on a daily basis too, if you consider that too. So if you have 100 rupees on a daily basis, how much part of it would you spend on food and other commodities? So that is one aspect. If you have only 50 rupees on a daily basis, then a major part of it, because food price is the same. Say if you are getting one square meal for 20 rupees. So out of 100 rupees you are spending 20, means 20%. But out of 50 rupees you are spending 20 is more. So it is 40%. So that's how it is seen, that a major part of the poor's earnings go into spending on food. So when essential commodities spending is high, then the spending on health and education becomes low. There is not much left to spend on those aspects, and that results in the poor entering into the vicious cycle of poverty. So they continue to remain poor because of this. So government intervention and support is essential. Though India is growing at an accelerated growth, but then jobs are not coming up, and jobs especially for these unskilled or low level employable jobs. So these people need to be supported. Skill training, the Skill India program is very much essential for this section of the population, where adequate skills have to be given to them. And also it points out about the present technology revolution, which results in again affecting employment levels. So that's why it is required that skills, relevant skills to ensure that they can compete in this technology driven world is also provided to them. So that's what it talks about. Thank you. So that is about this article. Thank you so much.